What's up, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast TV. I'm your host, John, and today I am absolutely stoked to have Lucas with us. Lucas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, John. Happy to be here. Been a long-time listener and first time as a guest.
We appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know Lucas, he's a language learning whiz. He's helped hundreds of students conquer English grammar, and he's got some seriously awesome tips to share with us today.
I try my best. I think a lot of people overcomplicate it, you know?
Absolutely. Grammar. The very word sends shivers down the spines of many English learners. It feels like this huge, intimidating monster. But today we're going to slay that monster, right, Lucas?
Slay it? Tame it? Maybe just politely ask it to move aside. We're going to make it manageable, I promise. We will definitely equip you with the things you need to make it your friend.
So let's dive right in. Why do you think so many people struggle with grammar? What makes it so scary?
I think there are a couple of reasons. First, the way it's often taught. Textbooks, endless rules, diagrams. It feels very detached from actual speaking. It becomes this abstract thing instead of a tool to communicate. As a matter of fact, there is a better way.
Yeah, it's like learning the anatomy of a car engine without ever actually driving the car.
Exactly. And the second thing is the fear of making mistakes. People get so hung up on being perfectly correct that they freeze up and don't even try to speak. Then they have the misconception that grammar is difficult, when actually grammar is pretty easy.
That fear is huge. It's like, oh no, I'm going to use the wrong tense and everyone will laugh at me.
And honestly, most people won't even notice. And if they do, who cares? It's part of the learning process.
So how do we break free from that fear and start seeing grammar as a helpful tool?
It's all about mindset. Stop thinking of grammar as a set of rules to memorize and start seeing it as a set of guidelines to help you express yourself clearly. It's the skeleton of the language, but you need to put on some meat on it. It's about understanding how words fit together to create meaning. I mean, even native speakers make mistakes.
So true. I butcher grammar all the time.
We all do. But the key is to focus on getting your message across. And the more you practice, the more natural the grammar will become.
So it's not about perfection from day one, it's about progress.
Exactly. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You're going to fall a few times, but you eventually get the hang of it. Grammar is the same way. The only difference is understanding these tools.
All right, Lucas, give us some actionable tips. How can our viewers actually start learning grammar more effectively?
Okay, so here are a few of my favorite strategies. Tip 1, focus on the fundamentals. Don't try to learn everything at once. Start with the basics, subject-verb agreement, basic tenses, articles. Master those before moving on to more complex stuff. Tip 2, learn in context. Don't just memorize rules in isolation. Learn grammar through examples, stories, and real-life conversations. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, read books. Pay attention to how grammar is used in context. Tip 3, practice, practice, practice. Grammar isn't a spectator sport. You have to actively use it to learn it. Write in a journal, have conversations with native speakers, do grammar exercises online. The key is to get your hands dirty. It will boost your confidence. Tip 4, find your weak spots. Figure out which areas of grammar you struggle with the most and focus your efforts there. Don't waste time on things you already know.
That's some solid advice. I think the learn in context point is especially important. It's way more engaging than just staring at a textbook.
Definitely. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try using new grammar structures in your conversations. Even if you make mistakes, you'll learn from them.
So, what are some resources that our viewers can use to help them on their grammar journey? Apps, websites, books. What do you recommend?
There are tons of great resources out there. Here are a few I like. Grammarly, a great tool for checking your writing and identifying grammar errors. EnglishClub.com, a comprehensive website with grammar lessons exercises, and quizzes. Duolingo, a fun and interactive app for learning grammar and vocabulary. Your local library. Don't underestimate the power of a good grammar textbook or workbook.
That is awesome, man.
And don't forget to find a language partner. Speaking with someone who's fluent in English is one of the best ways to improve your grammar.
What are some of the most common grammar mistakes that you see learners making?
Oh, where do I start? Tense confusion. Getting the tenses mixed up is a big one. Subject-verb agreement. Not making sure the verb agrees with the subject. Example, he go instead of he goes. Article errors. Using the wrong article or omitting it altogether. Preposition problems. Using the wrong preposition. For an example, on the bus instead of in the bus.
And how can people avoid making these mistakes?
Pay attention to the patterns. Notice how native speakers use grammar structures in their speech and writing. And when you make a mistake, don't get discouraged. Just learn from it and move on and try again.
We've talked about focused study, but what about just being around the language? How important is immersion in learning grammar?
Immersion is huge. It's like if you want to learn to swim, you can read all the books about swimming technique, but eventually you have to get in the water. And that same thing happens when it comes to language learning.
Totally. So, what does immersion look like for someone who maybe doesn't live in an English-speaking country?
It's about creating your own English-speaking bubble. Surround yourself with the language as much as possible. Watch movies and TV shows in English. Listen to English music and podcasts. Read English books and articles. Even change the language settings on your phone and computer to English.
That's a great tip about changing the language on your devices. It forces you to interact with English in a practical way every day.
Indeed. So, John, let's break down some vocabulary from today's episode. It will help our listeners with better understanding.
Sure, here we go.
Overcomplicate meaning. To make something more difficult than it needs to be. Example, don't overcomplicate the instructions, just keep them simple and clear. Shiver down the spines of. Meaning. To cause fear or excitement, a feeling like a cold chill from emotion. Example, the horror movie sent a shiver down the spines of everyone in the theater. Slay. Meaning. To kill, or in slang, to do something very well or look amazing. Example, she slayed her performance on stage and got a standing ovation. Tame. Meaning dot. To control or train something wild to make less dangerous. Example, it took years to tame the wild horse. Detached. Meaning not emotionally involved, separate. Example, he stayed detached during the argument and didn't show any emotion. Abstract. Meaning not clear or definite, based on ideas rather than things you can see or touch. Example, the painting was very abstract, with shapes and colors instead of real objects. Anatomy, meaning what? The structure of a body or how something is put together. Example, in biology class, we learned about the anatomy of the human heart. Hung up, meaning obsessed or overly worried about something. Example, she's still hung up on what her ex said last year. Misconception, meaning a wrong idea or belief. Example, it's a common misconception that bats are blind. They can actually see well.
Lucas, this has been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
My pleasure, John. There is a free PDF cheat sheet that summarizes everything we talked about today. including key grammar rules, common mistakes, and helpful resources. You can download it by clicking the link in the description below.
And don't forget to subscribe to English Podcast TV for more awesome English learning tips and tricks. Hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and let us know in the comments what grammar topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
And remember, learning grammar doesn't have to be a chore. With the right mindset and the right strategies, it can actually be enjoyable.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep speaking English. Take care and peace.